Acting Vice-Chancellor, Deputy Vice-Chancellor, Members of Senate, distinguished guests, graduates and your guests. I want to take a moment today at the beginning to acknowledge the history and experiences of those on whose traditional lands we meet, and Sandra spoke so eloquently about that history to us a few moments ago. So let us reflect upon the history of the Whadjuk people of the Noongar Nation here in Western Australia. And while bushfires rage around the country, let's contemplate the stewardship of land and waters, which allowed the oldest continuing culture in the world to thrive, and their continuing culture and enduring community strength. I think I've been asked to talk with you today because I'm Executive Director of Perth Zoo, as well as being a graduate of this place. Now, my job's a terrific one, and I'm extremely proud to lead an organisation which holds such a special place in the community's consciousness, and I'm very aware of my responsibilities to preserve such an icon in Western Australia. But in 1984, when I was sitting where you are today, and I was ruminating on what was to come next, I don't think that running a world-class conservation-based zoo seemed particularly attainable at that time. But as T.S. Eliot said, or wrote, our beginnings never know our ends. And so here I am, and here all of you are, about to set out and on the cusp of your next big adventure. Someone asked me recently if the zoo was my dream job. And yes, it's a really fantastic one, and I get to work with some incredibly passionate and extraordinary people who are filled with a motivation to save wildlife every single day. And I do get to spend some time up close with some extraordinary animals. But I've never really believed in the great big dream or the whole shoot for the stars notion. Certainly throughout my working life, I've set goals to master skills, or I've identified something I've really wanted to do and worked towards achieving it. So I'm not suggesting abandoning ambition, but rather asking you all to see a career as something which is much more than some kind of linear path from A to B, with B being the ultimate point. Because life happens. Trajectories are thrown off course by circumstance, and extraordinary and unexpected opportunities arise, and life is made so much richer for it. When I was in my late 20s, I faced a decision. Should I leave my very rewarding job with ABC Radio, a job which I'd worked hard to get and which I loved immensely, to go and live in a remote town in the Kimberley with my new husband? And just in parenthesis, here's a lesson, if you'll indulge me. Compromise in those sort of circumstances means one of you finding a new path. It doesn't mean meeting in the middle. That would have left us stranded somewhere on the Great Northern Highway, and that wasn't really an option. So this was shortly after the High Court Marbird decision, which recognised Australia's Indigenous peoples' rights to their lands and waters. And this, as you'll know, was a decision that forever changed the relationship between Indigenous and non-Indigenous Australians. And I was lucky enough to spend most of the following decade living and working with Aboriginal people in the Kimberley. I didn't set out to do that. It wasn't part of a preset plan in 1984, but it happened, and it enriched my life absolutely beyond measure. I became a very tiny part of the greatest political action of the 1990s, the assertion of native title rights for Australia's Indigenous people, and I became part of the still unfortunately incomplete journey towards reconciliation. And spending time in that extraordinary region gave me a very clear-eyed view of the nation's history and its continuing legacies. And it also, on a personal note, gave me two beautiful children, one of whom joins you as a graduate this year, both of whom see themselves as Kimberley kids, and whose experiences in that region continue to shape their own commitment to social justice. So why do I tell you this, other than an exhortation to be open to the unexpected? I share it because, frankly, it was love that made me do it in the first place. So, as a lesson, life is long. Love and allow yourself to be loved. Firstly, because it will likely take you places you never imagined, but also because it's the support of those around you that will really help you fly. So to those of you graduating today, congratulations. Your hard work has paid off and your exciting journey continues. And to the family and friends and partners of those graduating today, congratulations to you too. It's your love and support that's enabled today's graduates to make the best of their own resources. So graduates, can I ask you, be kind and generous in return. By this, I mean intentionally setting out to show kindness, warmth and compassion towards those around you, including in the workplace. There's a mountain of research from very erudite institutions such as Harvard Business School and Oxford, which shows leaders who are purposefully warm and kind accelerate trust and productivity in the workplace. This doesn't mean be a wet pushover, as my staff will tell you, but it does mean building a culture of respect, helpfulness and generosity. So play nice and be respectful. But of course, it's not all lovely out there. There are times when one's stomach churns and head goes light with anxiety about the right way to jump, or when you know the consequences of a course of action will likely be profound and have a direct impact on the lives of others. Now, we can choose to take the easy path, avoid the problem, keep your head below the parapet, or you can accept that it's a big leap and take that leap anyway. In saying this, I don't mean be reckless, I mean be courageous, as has already been said by David. Take responsibility, care enough to make a contribution and make tough decisions for yourself and in the work you do. Use your knowledge, your training and your capacity to be brave. If you're feeling too comfortable, then you're probably not learning and you're definitely not leading. But the workplace isn't all about hard decisions and the next big idea. A lot of it's about just getting on with it, and you'll know that. You've completed a degree, well done. That involved a lot of getting on with it. A friend of mine told me that when she was a music student, she wasn't the most talented in her class, but she was one of the hardest workers. She just got on with it, and her career grew through hard work and commitment to her craft. She's now a very well-known opera singer, and she has an international career, and I often reflect upon her comments that it was about just getting on with it. Sometimes we can be so busy at looking at what comes next that we miss the point that it's important to do the job we've got and do it really well. Because the commitment to do a really great job forms part of the final point I want to share with you tonight. And that is to ask that as you leave this place, you be decent and do the right thing. Sometimes it might feel like the whole world has lost its moral compass. Banks, corporate identities, senior public servants, academics, political leaders, royalty, highly publicised cases of people frankly stuffing it up, making base decisions motivated by self-interest, entitlement and usually greed. But most of us are not like that. We get on with it in an honourable and diligent way. And true north is in every single one of us, and we can choose to follow it. This is one of the most privileged places in the world, and you are amongst the most privileged people in the world. This gives you extraordinary power to act as a force for good. So choose to act with integrity, good faith, and firm purpose. Graduates, I wish you well in your journey and shine on. Thank you.